up, people? This is how out of control government can touch your life. And it's like so wrong you can't do nothing about it. This isn't my incident, isn't as bad as this. California went in my bank account and took out $500 or $600, I can't remember now, because they said I owed them taxes. After several days of calling them, they said they're going to pay it back. They still haven't paid it back. They said they have to send me a check in a few months. Still haven't got it. But I mean, government is just, they totally falsely accuse this woman and put her in jail. If this story is true and we're getting all the facts, I got to start pressing that because everybody, man, you didn't know the whole story. You're right, I don't. I only know what I'm getting here. Let's take a look at this woman get screwed bad. Welcome to another episode of Earning the Hate.
They say no good deed goes unpunished, and tonight one Detroit mother says no one knows that better than her.
She says sloppy work by Detroit police and a social media post like this one turned her life upside
So they post this woman as if she's wanted for a crime.
down.
Tonight, 7 investigator Ronch Jones is revealing everything that went wrong.
We've given too much power to people to have this much control to just ruin your life.
She's absolutely correct. I mean, looking at this video, any idiot can figure out what happened.
And have no care.
What happened to Sandra Wilson cost her her job, her dignity, and for a time her freedom. On June 16th, she was visiting this gas station across the street from her apartment where she's a regular.
I go there all the time. Before work, after work.
So often, in fact, she knows that from door to door it's
167 steps to
Okay, she knows the steps. It's a little odd, but okay.
and from.
She usually stops in to buy coffee, but on this night it was cigarettes. That's Sandra in the blue dress, and those two other women inside, they're important to this.
Okay, so if I'm watching this as an investigator, she doesn't acknowledge, she doesn't know this woman walking out, okay?
Story 2. The one leaving in the blue jeans just made a purchase and walks out just as Sandra is walking in. She's second in line, behind the woman at the counter in pink pants. Sandra waits, but as the woman in pink finishes up her business, the woman in jeans comes back in. Now watch carefully, because what you're about to see, Sandra can't. The woman in jeans talks to the cashier.
Okay, so they cut a lot of this film out, which is why I say, if this is correct. But even with the cutout film, this girl is showing no, and these girls are showing no relation to this woman at all.
Here, then puts down her credit card. She doesn't make a purchase and walks out without realizing she left the card on the counter. Sandra walks up to buy her cigarettes, and while she's waiting, the woman in the pink pants walks out of the store.
Looks like she walked out without paying for what she's got, but that's a different story. Here we go.
Only then does Sandra notice the card sitting on the counter.
So this is not a look of, I've got to get my co-conspirator's card.
But she doesn't pick it up. Instead, she follows the woman who just left and says she asked her a question.
Did you?
These people are driving away, leaving her, not connected. I mean, we call this a clue. This isn't rocket science here.
Your card.
And she said,
Yes. Got the card? Walked
She goes back in to get these people card after they're leaving.
over there to the far end of the pump, gave her card.
She left it because she knew it was stolen and that she was using it illegally. And then she got this person who was being nice to get her card and bring it to her. This person ends up going to jail. Out freaking rageous.
And I went home.
Sandra didn't know it, but she gave the card to the wrong woman, who police allege used it to buy hundreds of dollars in alcohol later that night.
No one ever accused Sandra of using the credit card. In fact, she only held on to it for about 15 seconds. So imagine her surprise when the following week she started to get calls from friends and family asking why she was wanted by police.
who called you first?
My sister. My oldest sister.
There she was, first on the 7th Precinct's Twitter account, then on the popular Crime in the D Instagram page.
That is so freaking wrong. These cops have got to be the most incompetent. Again, if we have the full story.
Both said she was wanted for illegally using someone else's credit card.
I was like, I just went to the store. I just really went to the store.
She knew she didn't steal a credit card, so Sandra, on her own, went to the city's 7th precinct to try to clear her name.
She walked in voluntarily to clear her name. They arrest her.
Thank you for not making me wait.
This is a recording of Sandra's interrogation.
I do have to advise you that you are the focus of the investigation
Correct.
at this time, okay? All right, nobody's trying to ruin your life.
Nobody's trying to ruin your life. I want to point out this is a black woman that we were told that there wouldn't be this kind of corruption if we hired more minorities and more women and more whatever. Okay? Power is corruption, and accountability, lack of accountability, leads to corruption. It's not the color or what sex you are, like they keep trying to sell us. This poor woman, man, she got screwed.
It is already.
So I'm going to read you your rights, okay?
If they're reading you your rights, you're probably going to jail.
Now, this is important. Moments after Sandra is told she's a suspect, she tells the officer she wants a lawyer.
I need an attorney.
Okay, that's fine.
Cause y'all about to hand me up on something I did.
That was smart. She said, I need an attorney. Now, this is where it triggers certain things for cops, but there's no, again, when I was a cop and Miranda came out, they go, you can read a Miranda and keep asking them questions. Because whatever they tell you, you can use it against them in court if they get up on a stand and lie. We just can't use it against them unless they get on a stand. But go ahead and keep questioning them. Well, that's not what the law says. The law says once somebody requests counsel, not even a lawyer, just counsel. If a child requests his parent, if somebody requests their priest, if they request counsel, we need to stop asking them questions. They're saying they want help they don't understand, and any other further government intrusion, questioning, intimidation, coercion will be considered unlawful and will not be admissible. So whether or not this would have, even if she was guilty, none of this would have been admissible because the cops are freaking idiots.
I do.
And not just once.
Can I call my mom and have them get me a lawyer real quick? I need an attorney, because this is like, wow.
The officer has Sandra read her Miranda rights, initially then signing her name. The officer wrote at 10:54 a.m. The subject refused to make a statement and asked to speak to an attorney. But the interrogation didn't stop. It continued for another 30 minutes, and not just with one officer. Now there were two.
Miss Wilson, would you like to provide me with a voluntary statement?
So when they say that thing continued, I'm not sure if there's an interrogation. This female officer says, would you like to provide me with a voluntary statement? Technically, shouldn't even be saying that. She already says she wanted a lawyer. But I'm not sure they're badgering her. I think she just wants to tell the truth because she's upset. She said she wanted a lawyer because she was like they weren't listening to her, and she figured they would stop and listen, and instead they were like, you know what? We've already decided you're going to jail. You're in a video. We don't care. You can sit your ass in jail for 3 days, I think.
I don't know what y'all want me to tell y'all. I just walked in the gas station and y'all took a picture of me and ruined my life.
Do you want
you gotta relax.
I don't know what y'all want me to say.
Then, 15 minutes after Sandra first asked for a lawyer, officers think they've finally caught her.
Who do you give that card to, Miss Wilson?
I gave the card to the man behind the counter.
We know that's a lie.
Who did I give it to? I said, here's the card.
So she's just confused. Maybe she had a couple drinks that night. I don't know. Whatever. I saw the video. She's I can tell by talking to her. She's upset. She's confused. She said, I gave it to the guy. She's not lying like, I gave it to my friend and we met and I used it and she gave me stuff. And it's not that kind of lie. It's total bullshit. But these cops are like, what do we care? We can't get charged with a crime. DA won't charge us and we can't get sued. Hey, our government is so out of control. It's just bullshit. This poor woman.
Is this your card? I don't know. I don't know them.
Okay.
Because she says that she gives the card to the clerk, just guessing at what she would do in that situation, they take that as evidence that somehow she's in cahoots with the woman.
Remember I tell you, when you talk to the cops, even if you make a mistake accidentally, they're going to get you. Especially if she was talking to FBI, it would be another crime for lying. In this case, they're lying. They're going to say, hey, that gave us probable cause to arrest you because you're lying. If she was talking FBI, she'd be going to federal prison for obstructing an investigation. for misspeaking. Nothing good comes from talking to cops. This woman walked in voluntarily, and look what it got her.
Who used the card illegally.
Brandon McNeil is Sandra's attorney, who says officers could have cleared this all up if they'd just shown her the surveillance video instead of just still photos of herself.
This is Sandra's local gas station. This could have been from any day that she went to the gas station.
I can tell you're lying. We know for a fact you're lying.
No, you don't know for a fact nothing because I'm not lying. Well, let me see the video because I'm not lying.
By the time the officers were done, Sandra would be arrested.
Now look, I've dealt with a lot of criminals and I've dealt with a lot of liars. This woman just does not scream criminal lying bullshit to me. She is absolutely walking in there voluntarily trying to clear this up. She was upset that her name was said around. And these guys saw this video and still freaking screwed her over.
And spent the next 3 days in lockup.
3
She'd
days.
gone her entire life with no criminal history, but now
they say she had her entire life without criminal history. If that's true, that's also a clue for cops. Like I said, 90% of the people I arrested had multiple 5, 7, 10, 15-page rap sheets with 30, 40, 50 arrests. When I run across somebody with no arrest, I am way less likely to arrest them unless I'm absolutely sure. This is outrageous.
Now faced 2 felonies and up to 4 years in prison. She says the charges cost her her job as a security guard.
I worked Monday and Tuesday. They called me on my off day, which Wednesday, and fired me in a car.
For 4 months, Sandra fought to clear her name. In October, the case went to a jury trial where, finally, her nightmare came to an end.
Finally, this judge did the right thing and threw this shit out. But the DA, all the cops that reviewed this and all the time and money they wasted going after this woman, and she had to spend 3 days in lockup, this is outrage. This is tyranny on full display.
End.
This is unbelievable to me. No trier of fact, even in the light most favorable to the prosecution.
So the trier of fact is the judge of the court, and he's saying even with the light most favorable to the prosecution, which is bullshit. I don't like that he thinks that the government should get the most favorable light, and I'm not sure he's saying that, but he's saying even if I gave the government the most favorable light, there's no way that this could freaking be true.
Fact. Even in the light most favorable to the prosecution could ever think that Miss Wilson is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Before the case could go to the jury, Judge Paul Cusick threw it out.
They put this in front of a jury. I just, that's why I'm saying there has to be more to this story. I can't believe the cops and the prosecution was that stupid with this tape to somehow think that they could convince a jury that she was freaking involved.
Absurd and ridiculous and wrong. And this was not a thorough investigation.
Sandra would be acquitted, but today, nearly 2 months later.
Okay, so acquitted by the judge because he wouldn't allow the jury to give a verdict. He threw it out, acquitted her, which means they can't go back and charge her again. Because if they really wanted to be dicks, which government quite frequently likes to be, they'd said, okay, we just got a bad judge. We'll retry her. We'll get a different judge.
Later, she hardly feels like she won anything. She never got her job back. Her family and friends still wonder if she did something wrong. And still on social media today are those pictures labeling her a criminal.
And they embarrassed me, humiliated me. I have 49 applications and I can't get a job, okay? That's not fair.
And they're not clearing up her arrest record. She now has an arrest record for the rest of her life that she was doing fraud with credit cards. No financial, nobody where she works with money is going to hire her. They're going to say, well, you know, you were arrested even though you weren't convicted. It's just wrong.
Ironically, Detroit police have still not apprehended the woman who actually used that other woman's credit card. She still remains wanted.
Here's something that's going to piss you guys off. The cops that arrested her still get the stat at the end of the year for funding and budget and to justify a financial crimes unit and investigators, this arrest will be used to justify that. How's that for government working on your behalf? Earning a hate for these cops. We'll end that there.